JP Morosi joins us for the Inside Corner. And JP, we saw it earlier, the White Sox losing to the Toronto Blue Jays. They have been nicked up all season. Now Tim Anderson, the latest to go on the injured list. What's the plan to replace him? How are they going to cover his absence?
Robert, good morning. Tim Anderson has been the White Sox best offensive player all season long. This is a significant absence, even if they hope it might just be for a few weeks here, with Tim Anderson now being on the IL with a groin strain. And we actually saw last night in that loss to Toronto, Yasmani Grandal as the leadoff hitter. So that's a very unique approach for Tony La Russa and the White Sox. They'll probably have Danny Mendick as the shortstop for a while. That was the case last night. Mendick was batting ninth. But when you consider the catalyst that Anderson is for the White Sox, and then you add that on top of Luis Robert not being around for the last little bit as well, this is an offense that is really struggling. Robert, this team is now below 500. The Twins have just been okay over the last 10 games, but the White Sox have not been able to add and really gain some ground there on the Minnesota Twins right now. So I think for right now, Tim Anderson's absence, a significant issue for the White Sox. They hope, again, he'll be back in the next few weeks, but for now, it's going to be Danny Mendick playing short, and look for Jake Burger to now move up in the lineup. He was batting fourth last night for Chicago.
Let's talk about another shortstop, JP, and that's Juan De Fratus of the Tampa Bay Rays. He also is injured. He's on the injured list. He's been battling leg injuries. They've put him on the IL with the quad issue. What can you tell us about when we can see him back?
Robert, you know, it's a really interesting question, and I'm glad you mentioned that, just the context about what's been going on with Franco all season long, because he has had a succession of lower body injuries that have really sapped the incredible talent that we saw from him last season. I think that the Rays hope that by just having him rest for these couple weeks, that he'll bounce back and really be able to restart his season later on in the month of June, because he just really has not been fully healthy, to your point, all season long. You see the discomfort there that he suffered with that right quad. So it's not just been the one issue, it's been multiple. We'll now see probably Taylor Walls playing a lot of shortstop now for the Tampa Bay Rays. But to your point, they're now looking for someone to help jolt this offense. Is it going to be Isaac Paredes, who has been playing a lot of second base for the Rays this season? Of course, they got him in that trade for Austin Meadows at the end of spring training from the Tigers. The lower half of the lineup really has not been as productive as we've typically seen the Rays have in years gone by. So I think a number of issues right now in front of the Rays, but I think the health of Wander Franco is a significant concern. They have to maybe see a Rosarena step up. This is not just a one player replacing Franco. It's going to have to be a team-wide effort for the Rays to now sustain that offense going forward.
JP, earlier in the show, D-Row highlighted, highlighted Luis Castillo, who certainly could be a trade piece near the deadline. The same can be said of Frankie Montas of the Oakland A's, who pitched fantastic yesterday against the Astros, albeit in a loss. What should we know? What do you think happens here with Montas moving forward?
Robert, I would be stunned if Montas is not traded by the August 2nd trade deadline. He is simply one of the very best available pitchers right now in the major leagues. And very importantly, he is not going to be a free agent until after 2023. And last night, yet again, he pitched brilliantly in yet another Oakland A's loss. 7 innings, 2 earned runs against a very quality Houston lineup. He did not walk a single batter. I'm going to point out, Robert, 2 teams that I think make a lot of sense right now for Frankie Montas. One is the White Sox, and one is the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals, when you consider, of course, Adam Wainwright final year of his deal, you think about where their rotation is going forward as well. You could really look at Montas being a good fit for 2022 and 2023. Similarly with the White Sox, of course, they just DFA'd Dallas Keuchel. You wonder about Lance Lynn and when he's going to be able to come back. They right now, the White Sox, need a lift. They've been, as we talked about earlier with the Anderson injury, they've been a very mediocre team with extraordinarily high expectations. Now, their farm system isn't quite as strong as it was a couple of years ago, but I wonder if there's a creative deal that could be made there, maybe with a young major leaguer to bring back Montas there to the White Sox. Of course, he had some time there with Chicago earlier in his career, Robert. So I think no matter what, 2 months from now, the trade deadline, a lot of talk on this show about Montas in the weeks ahead.
And we know you'll be right in the middle of it. That's JP Morosi in the Inside Corner. Good stuff as always, JP.